and you have to amplify that pain point in order for you to captivate my attention as a customer. This is also great time for optimization. Optimize everything within your company.
How do you optimize your customer's journey, drive demand, reduce churn rate, increase retention, and generate growth? Are some of the questions marketers continuously ask.
Welcome to the Customer XP Crew Weekly Podcast, where we discuss marketing strategies, tactics, ideas, experiences, invite guests and experts to help you with your marketing growth by being customer-centric. And now to this episode.
Hi, Sebastian. How you doing?
Hi, Juan. Hello, and welcome to another episode of our Customer XP Crew podcast. This is the show for B2B businesses that never stop growing. My name is Sebastian, copywriter and strategist, and with me is Juan Gomez, founder and director of marketing, your customer-centric digital marketing agency. On today's episode, we want to take a deeper dive into last week's topic, which was recession marketing. Now, I know we discussed like a general picture. We debunk some myths and tackle some main concerns. Then we received some feedback from our audience who are asking for actionable tips or strategies amid the context that we are facing. And since this is the customer XP crew, you ask, we provide. So that's exactly what we're going to help you with on this week's show. So now I would like to give the word to our expert, Juan.
Awesome. Thank you, Sebastian. Great introduction, by the way. I think we are right now facing a current situation that we're heading into. We hear a lot of this word recession, and it has a negative connotation, but by all means, it's time for opportunity. We've seen a lot of businesses sprout out of recession times like Airbnb, WhatsApp, Venmo, Uber. They all came during recession times, and it's just time for innovation and opportunity. I know every recession, it's a particular kind of matter, like we discussed last time, and we have to understand the situation of each recession. Particularly this recession, one of the things that it has, it's combined with inflation, which is something unprecedented, or at least we haven't seen in the last decade or so, or the last 2 decades. And this decade, I mean, this time around, and we're seeing it, that it comes not only as a recession but with inflation. What does that mean, and what it entails to brands and any marketer, indeed, and just in general? We have to understand the psychology of every customer. Inflation, it's huge because what happens is that a price of or a good that they had before, it's increasing in value, but it's also decreasing. Some of them are it's funny because I just saw some news report where brands like Doritos and all that stuff, they keep the same size of bag, but they're just fluffing more air into the bag and including less cheap chips to not increase the price. But our overall, obviously, they're reducing the quantity, so you're getting less bang for your buck. So we understand that companies do have to take measures in times of recession, but it's also imperative to understand the psychology of the consumers and not give them less, actually give them more somehow, something of value. And that's what I really want to hone in and focus. And it's, we have to understand where consumers are coming from and why are they are going to behave this way, or at least anticipate that behavior, in order to craft messaging and programs and strategies that align to these rough times. But let's stop calling it rough times and recession. Let's call it innovation and opportunities.
Yes, the glass half full. By the way, don't you hate it when you buy your bag of air and find a Dorito in it? Outrageous, outrageous. Yes, I agree with you. And um, on that note, so would you say that there were that there wouldn't even be the need of discussing such things, because this is something that companies may ask facing these times, like, do we have to create some damage control strategy, or maybe it's more like the panic created by the media. So maybe there's not even a necessity to call it a damage control, but more like, how are we going to react or shift our strategy? As we mentioned on last episode, like, we cannot by all means compare these times to, let's say, 10 years ago, or the 2007-8 recession.
Correct. First of all, to answer one of the statements that you said there is, yes, media plays a huge role in what consumers think, and it's just incredible how gullible we are. For example, there's still a war in Europe, in Eastern Europe, between Ukraine and Russia, but the headlines are not concentrated or focused on that, and we just tend to forget. And if I ask you like what happened last week on the war, you probably don't even know, or you thought it
Yeah,
probably had ended or whatever it was, but
it's crazy.
it just became such a regular subject that it's not a something that the media is putting that much attention. So again, it's something that it's affecting, obviously, but it's not on the headlines anymore, which kind of dismisses the attention of the consumer. So the same thing is for recession. Right now, we're hearing recession here, we're hearing recession there, and obviously this creates a panic and some type of emotion of constraint, of unclear vision for the future, or uncertainty, and all this kind of emotions really kind of create this atmosphere for desperation. Obviously, yes, I'm not saying continue to spend big or anything like that, but at least be cautious, but don't be overly protective or stuff like that, because what keeps an economy running is everybody contributes a little bit by spending and just passing money around between one entity and another and adding value for those necessities. That's pretty much basic economics. Money has to flow, and if we keep it tight, then we're not even helping our own employers or the other companies or whoever, because mm, we are reducing our expenses, which again, in uncertainty times, it's correct. I'm just saying, just be cautious, but don't go into panic and go like full out, full brakes, stop, don't waste a dime, because that's not the idea. In order to grow, there has to be some expense on research and development and sales and marketing, especially on companies. And for consumers, yes, you might reduce some of your pretty much hobbies or other non-essential expenditures, but you have to continue to enjoy life. You're not going to stop enjoying life. So again, do it within your means, create budgets, yes, and create allocation for what it's most important.
Yes, I particularly agree with what you said on the Ukraine-Russia situation. Like, those headlines, no, they're just like paintings on the wall, purely ornamental. So following, and people believe it's over, and it's actually on, and it's playing a huge factor on this, let's say, economic downturn. So I wouldn't be surprised if 1 month or 2 months from now we don't even see like a little piece of news mentioning something about recession or economic downturn, because that's just the media. That's their job, as it is our job to calm people down, to debunk these myths, and spill the truth.
Correct. I mean, there's a normal course of action in companies in particular, and there's gonna be budget freezes. There's gonna be cut downs. There's gonna be people being laid off. So those particular people are gonna really feel the recession because they're being let go from their job. But when you have budget freezes and your CFO or the owner of a company, it's just cutting down these expenses. It is also a way to see what the vision of that company is to face a struggle. So if a company is in a good financial situation, most likely they will not increase their budgets, but they will maintain it. And that's it's good. So during normal course of actions, I think the best thing companies can do is optimize their teams, make sure that everybody is doing something that adds value to the company, gets them closer to their goals. They have to take action in creating strategies for retention and growth, either from their own current customer base or launching into creating more growth programs that allow to acquire more customers, because the other weaker competitors are not making any market share. I mean, sorry, they're not making any marketing, thus it's opening a gap for market share. So there has to be some type of strategy and execution for that. There has to be also some programs created for segmentation based on the psychology that we discussed a little bit ago, in terms of who are these customers and how are they getting affected. So again, you have to kind of anticipate their behavior and create programs that will allow to get customers to keep you, because customer retention during a recession, it's the number one priority, or at least it should be.
Agreed. And also I would like to add that also you can contribute within your own organization, within your company. You have teammates. You have to also rely on your teammates to get through tough times. You have to let your team know that as long as the company benefits, they will benefit as well, because at the beginning people might be like scared or may fall into this media game, and that could decrease like efficiency, productivity. So you have to remind your team that we're all in this together.
That's correct. And I think, as our audience requested, what are some actionable items that you have to do? So first of all, once you've given a budget for marketing expenses and sales, go a little bit of a step behind. Create customer segmentation. On last week's topic, we addressed this on the customer segmentation. So customer segmentation, it's going to be huge in this downturn of economic times, but it's also an opportunity. Again, let's talk about it from an opportunity perspective. Create customer segmentation, and we spoke about four groups. People are going to be slamming their brakes and saying this is a complete stop. Some are going to be feeling the pain but are patient. Some are comfortably well, so they do business are regularly. They just might have a little bit of concern, not that much. And then you have the guys that it's like nothing has happened. They live for today. They Nothing completely changed
Yo,
their life. Actually, they're
YOLO.
probably exactly YOLO, and they're probably well off or actually growing. So you're gonna have that customer segmentation during a recession. it's huge to anticipate to this type of customer segmentation within your own customer base. Because, for example, if I was a, let's say, a Zoom customer, and which we are, and then we wanted to reduce our, we are one of those groups of slamming on the brakes, and we want to reduce or cut completely off our service. If Dropbox created a program that once we hit cancel the subscription, instead of letting us go, it creates a counter offer where it tells us, I don't know, I give you this pricing for you to stay, just for, because we understand the country or the world is going through tough times, and we value you so much that we're investing in you as well. We're willing to give you, I don't know, X pricing during the X amount of next months for you to stay with us.
Absolutely. I think that's the key, and that's the game changer when you compare these times during previous tough times. Like I think it is proven, and I don't want to say that you should put all your cars or all your money into only one move, but it has been proven that companies that took risk during these tough times, they didn't just overcome the crisis, they came out stronger. They especially subscription services like Amazon, Netflix, Spotify, who saw like this big opportunity of boosting podcasts during the pandemic. So it's like analyzing the context, understanding your audience, watching what's your audience behavior, and acting according to it. Like just listen to your people.
Correct, yes. So anticipating behavior comes from listening and drawing insights. So again, you have that segmentation of people slamming on the brakes. And like I said, if I was a Zoom customer, I'm canceling my subscription. And then when I hit cancel, it tells me, hey, we understand we're all going through a struggle. Let us be part of that, and we push together. That's gonna be helpful for me. I'm gonna be like, wow, this brand actually cares about me. And yes, you are reducing your revenue, of course, because now you have another pricing strategy, but at least you're keeping them. You're not losing
Absolutely.
100% of that revenue. You might be losing X percentage for whatever promotion strategy you created for that to rescue this client, but at least you're not losing 100% of it. You're just gonna reduce that customer. And once this is over, because nothing is forever, then the customer might, first they're gonna grow in loyalty because you did that. They're gonna feel more in compenetrated with your brand. They're gonna have a bigger perception of your brand. And second of all, when the period is over, they're more likely to stay, and you continue at
Yes.
your regular rate.
Like let's say e-commerce businesses, they could offer you free shipping for 1 month. Like
Yeah.
there are
Or
tons of things that you can do.
yeah, there are different tactics that you can implement, promotional tactics that you can implement along the way. Then you have the other customers like pain but patient. So there might be, during your customer segmentation, there might be some of them that they do feel the pain. They're actually going through a little bit of a struggle. Not that much of like those that are putting full brakes on, but you might also want to offer a lower price option, probably not as aggressive as the ones slamming the brakes completely, because they might be, instead of canceling the subscription, they're probably lowering the tier of their subscription service. So again, create strategies that allow people to sustain at least what is essential to them through rough times. And I think that's gonna really help you retain customer, because that's the number one priority. And then later on, when things start picking up, you can upsell them, cross sell them, and actually grow that customer back again. But at least you didn't lose it. And for the
Awesome.
other two groups, the comfortably well and those that live for the day because they have no
The
impact,
YOLO ones.
the yellow ones, yes, they would, you continue creating marketing strategies that will obviously bring these high value customers into your company and convert them. So for this, I'll actually say invest in marketing. Don't lose it, because it's a great opportunity where other competitors are going to reduce their marketing expense, which means it's an opportunity for you to be in those places that before were highly competitive, and now you can gain them at a cheaper rate because there's not much competition for that. So if you're doing AdWords, those keywords are gonna be less expensive because there's not gonna be that much competition on people bidding for that placement. The same thing on social ads or other forms of marketing. So for me, I think that that's huge. But most importantly is to be customer centric. Have your
That's
customer
right.
in mind. And during a recession, all your messaging should be customer centric. First, it adds value. And second of all, it speaks to their pain points. As a matter of fact, during a recession, you have to speak about their pain points. You have to make pain points even more crucial, more imperative, more important, and mention them stronger, because benefits during a recession in a customer's psychology, yeah, this might benefit me, but since I'm really concerned and I'm narrow focused on whatever's happening to me, I'm not gonna be able to see beyond my need. And you have to amplify that pain point in order for you to captivate my attention as a customer. Because I'm narrow focused, so I'm just like walking like this, where I'm not seeing any other solution than what I want to see. But if you talk about my pain point, that's gonna open my eyes and stop and stare and make me kind of dig a little bit more information about this, because it's like, hey, it's talking about my problem, and go on from there, not from a benefits perspective, but from a problem, and go from the problem, amplify the problem, then you give the solution to that problem with benefits. And that might entail, again, that's a strategy that has to focus it. So if I was to summarize, that is amplify pain points in order to captivate customer attention during a opportunity cycle like it's a recession. Two, make sure you acquire customers. And this is also great time for optimization. Optimize everything within your company, automation, all your marketing, like conversions, messaging, your website, anything that you can do to enhance your positioning will reap rewards in the long term.
Yes, time for innovation and disruption. And I wanted to ask you, like, what's your take on reaching for allies or strategic partnerships?
That's huge, Sebastian. One of the things that companies tend to forget is you can create strategic partnerships with other companies to enhance your offering. So for example, we just saw the or acquisitions, not just partnerships, acquisitions. There's companies like, for example, QuickBooks, who just acquired MailChimp. And QuickBooks, which the company, as we know, it's Intuit, they're the number one accounting software for SMBs. And they acquired the biggest or one of the largest email marketing campaigns and automation software for small and medium-sized businesses. So now their offering goes beyond just we do your accounting. Now it's like, hey, we help you with your accounting and we automate processes so you communicate with your customers, you enhance your marketing, and we drive new sales. So it's like an all-in-one package. Again, you don't have to acquire, but you can also see partners like this. If they were two independent companies, not an acquisition, it will still be a good partnership between MailChimp and QuickBooks. So again, you have to improve their customer journey. That's vastly important. You have to improve the buyer's journey, and you have to, more imperative and more importantly, you have to improve the customer experience. Make sure everything it's tightly is done correctly. You are getting feedback from your customers and you're improving your product and you're implementing these changes so that you come out stronger on on the long term and the short term and in the midterm by implementing these changes, which is going to position your software solution, or in reality any company that gets customer feedback and enhances their service or their product is going to come out stronger. You're going to be a better solution, not just during a recession, but after the recession.
Yes, like your customers could even be your best consultation.
Correct. I mean, they give you the best feedback possible because they're the ones in the trenches using your service, your product, your software, everything. So listen to them. They're gonna you're gonna have more eyeballs there, and they're gonna be they're gonna create constructive criticism for you. So again, some of the tactics that you can implement during these harsh times is create customer segmentation to anticipate the behavior that's going to happen, create pricing strategies or programs that are going to attend to these needs and these behaviors, build your product based on customer feedback. If you're reducing your marketing spend, make sure you optimize it so at least you do more for what you're spending and you're reaping rewards. But if you're increasing or maintaining your marketing spend, you're going to be in a great position. And I will really vouch for that for companies is to maintain or increase their marketing, because it's competitors are going to be doing the opposite, which is going to allow you to gain more market share, more top of mind, and enhance all that customer experience from the buyer's journey to customer um, to your customer experience and within the product, within the service, collecting feedback, like I said before, create partnerships, use affiliates if that's something that you're likely to do, affiliates and influencers. But most importantly, create content and speak of content, especially during for those two customer segments that are going to be in pain that we talked about. Create content that amplifies those pain points, offer your solution with the benefits, and you'll be in a good shape by running campaigns that allow this communication to be read, seen, or distributed across different channels for sharing. Marketing should be about delivering value, and if companies are not doing this, they're going to be stuck, or they're gonna grow or cease to exist, because that also happens during recessions is they go too conservative instead of being full out on maintaining their current customers or upgrading their experience or enhancing it, and they must die out. And one of the things that I think any company during any given situation, during any given economic upturn, downturn, or just flat out the same economic or stable economic times, is build communities. If you build a community within your customer base, that cannot be replicated. That's the only thing that cannot be replicated. You're gonna have products or services that are similar in some way to what you do, but the community, that's hard to replicate. So if you build communities for your product or service or your company, you're gonna really create something of more value to those consumers.
Yes, and a community will never allow to affect your visibility. You're always going to be on the map.
Yeah, you're gonna be their top of mind. So
Yes,
for example, if you ask any, and obviously this is a B2C solution, but if you ask the cyclists that do at home exercises, their number one choice is Peloton. And Peloton has a huge community, and you never feel alone because you jump on that bike, and I know you're by yourself at home, but if you tune in to these classes, you're with a group of people doing exercises. You can create challenges or groups to tour different things or do different types of exercises with these people. And that's a community that is hard to replicate.
and people are going to they're going to want to be part of that community. People will want to join. So you have like advocates that will bring more people over.
Correct. And the same thing happens with software solutions. Is if you create communities that enhance that particular need of B2B users, you can create communities. And this will, again, be something that nobody can steal because it's hard to replicate communities. And if it's embedded within your product or it's part of your solution, the community, it gives you just that prime choice when it comes time and time again.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think again, just to summarize everything that we talked to about today is recession is a time for opportunities. You have to understand your customer psychology. So how does inflation and interest rates hikes and it's going to affect my consumers? What are some of the anticipate some of the behaviors that are going to be taken in place? Create pricing programs or product programs that allow you to keep those customers that might be cutting the cord or they might be putting their full brakes on and just don't want your service anymore because they're on economic constraint. But if you can create pricing programs or product programs that will allow them to stay, will also benefit you because you're keeping a percentage of that revenue that it was going to be gone completely. And moreover, once the harsh times end, you're going to be in their mind as a hero, which is going to be bring more loyalty and an uprising on your brand value. In terms of normal courses of action, again, people are going to be reducing costs. I will say it's normal, but try to optimize everything within your company, define the importance of needs and wants, and make sure that marketing stays in one of those so that your company survives and gains a market share, or at least keeps customers. So continue to do good marketing with valuable content that speaks to pain points. Optimize your teams as well. Implement growth and retention strategies. And from just a marketing perspective, create that customer segmentation that I've been repeating again and again. Understand the customer psychology and how these programs that are you going to be creating apply to these scenarios. Make sure your customer experience is on par. Seek partnerships, affiliates, and influencers. Create communities and just publish great content. That will be my recommendation.
So in times of need, become the hero of your customers. You do that,
Absolutely.
and your community will never ever let you fall.
That's correct. Yes.
And that's a wrap. We want to thank every single one of you who stayed and listened to us. We're more than happy to help. Stay tuned for next week episode where we'll be discussing new strategies and tools for optimizing your customer's journey. Please visit our website, marketing.us, and get free access to our blog and newsletter so we can keep you posted on what's happening in the Customer XP crew. Please share, leave your thoughts, tell a friend. Any feedback is more than welcome and we will really appreciate it. I want to thank Juan Gomez for his always valuable input and hope to see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.